Hey cousins, welcome to Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas.
Welcome, cousins, to this episode of Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas. I'm Cousin Cornell Wright. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the NOAA, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, and the benefits that they provide to all of us cousins to understand what's going to be going on with the weather around us. I don't know if you were a part of it, but where I live, we were impacted by the recent tropical storm Hurricane I can't quite pronounce it correctly, so I'm not going to try. But they identify and keep track of one of the things they do, the NOAA, is they take care of the weather, and they help to predict and kind of come up with some predictions of weather based upon experience, computer modeling, understanding of various temperatures and those kind of things, understanding how the climate sort of works to the best of our knowledge and scientific ability today. Sailors, for those of you out there, I know you guys use their charts, right? Because it's kind of make sure that you understand what's going on, try to make sure you're safe out there. Now, a recent report came out from the NOAA that they do a prediction in regards to tropical storms, hurricanes, and other sort of climate and weather-related incidences that occur and would impact where we live. All you cousins that live in Florida, the Gulf Coast, Texas, you know what we're talking about. Those folks are very important to you. The rest of us, as we go through and listen to our local weather channels and or some of the ones that are online, they also use the NOAA information. That is pretty much the basic source of that. So, cousins, when they come out and they bring a prediction that based upon the weather patterns that they can predict, once again, it's prediction, not absolute, they're talking about 2020 and this hurricane season being the most aggravated perhaps that we've had in a long time. First of all, cousins, let's think about that. When do we start having a hurricane season? All right? That's not like baseball season or football season, is it? Now, I know for some of you folks who live down in Florida, yeah, you understand it's been going on for a while. But for the rest of us, we didn't necessarily have a season for hurricanes. So now, when we're starting to have more hurricanes and more bad weather, think about the last few years. Every time we've heard about something, hasn't it been the biggest, the greatest, the longest, one of the most ferocious, 100-year type of hurricanes and or flooding levels? Well, cousins, that would tell me that something's going on that we need to start paying more attention to, shouldn't we? You know the expression, as I mentioned before, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I think we need to start paying more attention to what the NOAA is telling us with their predictions about the weather patterns. Now, I understand we're talking about prediction weather patterns, and I have a friend who lives in Houston and relatives who live in Dallas, and they say, oh, we understand the weather. Good, cousins, we got that. But let's think about the weather in the context of what else is going on in 2020. We still are confronting and working with a pandemic. We still are working with and having an economic problem of descriptions based upon who you talk to from everybody knows it's bad, right? And then on top of that, we're starting to have a lot of questions like how much money the government is spending, and do we all have the resources in order to do that? I mean, think about it. In normal times, you may have a hurricane coming through. What's the first thing everybody does? They run to the stores, they get toilet paper and water. I'll quite never understand that, but you got toilet paper and water. But now, within the context of the coronavirus and our response to that, do we have enough of all those critical items that we've been thinking about for some time? So my suggestion is, cousin, the bad idea for the day is you individually talk to your town people, talk to your state people, and maybe even get some recommendations from federal government is what are we going to do if, in fact, the NOAA is correct in their regards. It's kind of like this. You know, there's always a high, medium, and a low. Well, let's not automatically assume it's going to be on the low. If you plan for the high and it turns out to be low, aren't we going to be better off? And when I talk about being better off, well, think about it. As a result of the most recent storm, there was flooding, there was power outages, okay? Where I live, people were out of power for almost a week in some instances. You can be out of power in the summertime for a week. Okay, you'll get a little hot, you still have running water, you can cook outside, you're okay. You start getting into November in the wintertime, you could be in trouble if you're out of power for a week, right? Not to mention if you had water damage somewhere in your house. Not to mention that, I don't know about you, but further up north in the Northeast, we had tornadoes. I'm sorry, cousins, I used to think tornadoes were all our cousins out in the Midwest, okay? Also, you're starting to have tornadoes on the East Coast. All I'm saying is that we start looking at the facts of what's occurring to us, your history, my personal history, which says that something's going on. So there's something going on. Shouldn't we be preparing as best we can with the best knowledge we have available in order to take care of that? Now, I know the cousins over at the Red Cross, they work tirelessly, but they can't cover everybody. The FEMA people, they're out there going to be doing what they can, and of course, not to mention the impact on the insurance companies. All right? Think about that. When they talk about millions and billions of dollars being impacted by these storms, who's getting hit with that eventually? The insurance companies, but then eventually, what, cousins? Doesn't it come back to us? So, the short answer is NOAA.gov is a good website to go figure out and see what's going on. The predictions from the NOAA, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, is something I think we ought to pay serious attention to when it's in combination with the other factors we're all dealing with. Let's try to plan for what's the best possibility so we can then have the best outcome, cousins, because we want to get through this hurricane season of 2020 and into the December timeframe safely. All right, cousins, you know I care about you. I know you got to go. This is a quick one. Have a good day. Wear your mask and you take care of yourself.
We are the people. We are the people.